Good morning. So today we are going to pick back up from where we left off last Thursday when we talked about the forced migration that took place right here in St. Paul when an entire community of people were forced to leave their homes so that Highway 94 could be put in. So let's talk about this big highway that in the 1950s to the 1960s was a huge source of discussion. And what happened is that there was a Federal Aid Highway Act of 1956 where they agreed that they were going to give this huge sum of money to the cities of St. Paul to put in this highway that would connect Minneapolis and St. Paul. And that's Highway 94, the I-94 that you know today. Now, why would they build a highway? Well, there's four main reasons why we need highways in the US. One, it's a way for national defense to very quickly move between states, between cities in a time of crisis. It's also a safety measure because if people are going really high speeds on side streets, there's a much better chance that they could hit someone, hit something, hit a car. And so we need those highways where people can drive quickly from one place to another. It's also good for the economy to have highways. It's how our truckers bring goods from city to city. And finally, it's very important for keeping traffic moving. So there's a big public hearing in 1956 because it came down to two options. The northern route, which is the green line that you see there, that would have gone up around the Capitol and back through a little bit closer towards Lake Como. The southern route takes the highway right directly, as you can see here, through this Rondo community. This green line had a lot of arguments against it. One person said there's too many traffic jams going that route. It costs more money. But then Timothy Howard, who was a barber who lived in the Rondo neighborhood, he stood up and said, but this route here is a ton of homes lost. Whereas this one, there was not a neighborhood or a community that they had to disrupt. Floyd Massey, who was a minister in the Rondo area, he came up with an idea. Why don't we build below the ground level? And that way we can stick with the Rondo route, but we're not disrupting a whole community of people. But they came back and said that's bad for businesses. And all kinds of people showed up at that hearing. But in the end, what was decided was that they were going to go with the route that went through the Rondo neighborhood. Here's a picture of the first newspaper photograph of 94, and you can see that big, huge highway. It's still there today that reaches Minneapolis or connects Minneapolis and St. Paul. Here's a view of it from here. You can see Maxfield's here. Our school would be over in this area. So this is a view of it. And you can see there's communities and homes right on either side of it. So every place it went through, there was blocks of houses right here that got removed. So there's a quote that I think is very compelling. A woman said that was interviewed after this, and her home is one of the houses that was torn down and 94 was built there. She says, every time I drive down I-94, I think I must be driving over my bedroom. So why do we remember Rondo? You can see here, this is that little street that's right by Benjamin Mays. It used to continue on to the neighborhood, and here you see it stops there and the highway's there. So I want you to think about how can you carry on the culture of Rondo, and go ahead and respond in the assignment